welcome to Good Work Now. I'm Dr. Brian Moffitt. It's great to be back in Sacramento. I just got back yesterday from a vacation in my home state of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. As a matter of fact, I'd like to dedicate today's show to my parents, Fred and Evelyn Moffitt from Dennisport, Massachusetts. And thanks, Mom, for the tie. I love it. And all this month, as you know, we've been focusing on well-being. And today's show is very unique. We're going to be talking about yoga and meditation. And I'm very pleased to welcome to our show today Shakti. She has been teaching yoga since 1995 and co-founded the Ease of Being Center in Orangevale, California. She teaches yoga and meditation for organizations, including the city of Sacramento, as well as the Ease of Being Yoga and Wellness Center in Orangevale. Shakti, thank you so much for being here today.
It's very much my
And I personally am going to benefit from what we're going to be doing today. First, Shakti and I are going to be talking about what is yoga and what is meditation. And then we're going to actually do some demonstrations of yoga and meditations that you can practice right in your work site. And as you can see, I'm wearing a suit and a tie, so doing yoga and meditation at work does not require being in gym clothes. You can do it in your professional attire. And so I hope you watch Shakti with the demos more than me, because she certainly is the expert. I'm going to try to be a participant and learn as we go along. So, Shakti, let's start with some of the informational stuff before we do some of the demonstrations. What is yoga?
Yoga is a variety of practices. It's a lifelong learning, if you will, to help one find that deep peace that's present in the midst of whatever's going on in life, which supports us all in being physically healthier. It supports us in a greater enjoyment of our life. And that's the bottom line of what each practice of yoga moves us toward.
Okay. And how about meditation? Is that the same as yoga, or is that a little different?
You could call them both the same thing. They're both, meditation is a part of the whole of a yoga practice. Some people prefer to practice simply meditation, while others prefer to practice other forms of yoga. And for me personally, I use meditation in my physical yoga practice as well as throughout my day. It's just part of my life.
Okay, so it's integrated into your daily life.
Right.
And so it sounds like yoga and meditation aren't just for physical fitness, but also spiritual, emotional. It's a stress, it helps you manage stress.
Yes.
Put balance back in your life.
Yes. It also, what yoga is about is discerning the truth of the way things really are. So it's yoga is done in a form of curiosity and wanting to know the true nature of body, of mind, of spirit, and in that practices that give you your own firsthand experience of the nature of your being. When we understand the nature of all these things, then we don't get caught up in the stories that can make us feel stressed out, that the stories that our mind tells us.
That is such an excellent point. Our last show was focusing on how to control stress or remove unnecessary stress from your life. And that came up over and over again about how to turn off the voices in our head, how to turn off that voice that will lead us into feeling bad. And so I think this kind of practice can help us nip that in the bud a little bit.
Very much so.
Great.
Yeah.
And conscious language, you also have that in your biography, that you're a conscious language instructor. What is conscious language?
It's looking at how you use your language and how your mind picks up on, even subconscious mind picks up on the language that you're using. Mind is like a computer. And so whatever gets put into it, it believes. It has no way to discern what's true and not true. It just hears what it hears, and that's what it believes. So when we can notice the kind of words we use, and we can shift our wording a bit, then it helps us to embody a more a healthier attitude toward life, and a more wholesome outlook.
As an example, again, from the last show, we talked about, let's say that your boss calls you and says, I want to see you at 2 o'clock. Being conscious of your language, your self-talk, that if you say to yourself, uh-oh, I'm in for it, I messed up, I'm going to be yelled at, rather than, wait a minute, I don't know. I'm going to walk in there with an open attitude, I'll ask questions, and then I'll learn in that moment and not waste energy worrying. So would that be an example? Okay. Yeah. I try to practice that too myself. Yeah. And let's go ahead, and if you could demonstrate, and then show me some yoga techniques that folks can do right in their office. And again, I encourage the viewers to watch Shakti more than me, because you'll probably notice I'm not doing it nearly as good as she can. But I'm going to be watching this tape after we finish taping, and then I'll be able to do a self-critique. So to see where my posture's off, and so this is going to be valuable for a variety of ways.
You'll be able to practice every day.
Yes. Let's see if I do it. Okay. Let's start. Where shall we start?
So let's start a little bit with things that we can do to help us relieve stress. We'll start there. One of the things that we can do, very simple, is we have sensitivity in the pads of our fingers. When we use the pads of our fingers, or put a little bit of pressure on the pads of our fingers, it actually begins to trigger a relaxation response in the body. So if we're feeling a little bit uncomfortable, we're getting ready to meet with that boss who called for the 2 o'clock meeting, then we may choose to just kind of play around with gently pressing the pads of the fingers and the thumbs together. Or if you're going to be speaking at a meeting or speaking in front of someone, you can actually just press pads of fingers gently together, and it actually helps the body to relax. There are times when we may feel like we need a double latte, especially after lunch when we have that afternoon and if we take the tips of our fingers together and press the tips of our fingers together a little bit, it will actually help us feel a little more alert. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can explore it for yourself and see just what happens for yourself with that. Same thing with the breath. When we exhale, especially if our exhale is longer than the in-breath, it triggers the relaxation response in the body. When we inhale, the in-breath tells the body it's time to take action. And what we have a tendency generally to do throughout our day is, I've got to act, I've got to act, I've got to act, I've got to act. And then by the end of the day, we're a bit like this because we've never given the body an opportunity to relax and breathe deeply. So if you're ever feeling overwhelmed at work or you need to calm down a bit, just start breathing on your exhale a little bit longer than on the in-breath. Even if it's for 30 seconds, you'll start feeling the body calm down and comfort come into the body and mind.
Maybe even visually imagining that you're purging. When you're doing the exhale, you're purging all that negative energy.
Yes. Exhale is the out. It's the out with what doesn't serve us anymore. And so that could be physically, mentally, whatever it may be. Let it go with the out breath, right?
Okay.